Hi, everybody. I am so excited to have the team behind Tree of Life, which is a very interesting project and frankly, it's been very inspiring to see how these coach individuals have come together to leverage on each other's strengths and network to create something big that goes beyond just one person. So I'll leave them to share with you what this project is about. And we're gonna unpack what on top of that, what is the purpose of the project, what the journey is like, and how they are able to launch this because of whatever they got from training and their credentials, which is really an important factor as well. Okay, so take it away, guys. Who would like to go first? What is Tree of Life?
Yeah, I can pick that up, Lynn. And again, thank you very much for also allowing us to be here. Well, to our audience, I just want to say the Tree of Life project is really all about giving. Yeah. And we take inspiration from a tree because after all, it symbolizes life and hope, especially at this time of the year that we are approaching Christmas. So our ask of you and, for all of us is why not consider a gift of a 1-hour coaching session with one of our experienced coaches here. And you can give this to your family, friends, or even to yourself. Our belief has always been coaching is very empowering, and we would like everybody to experience that. When you give the gift of a coaching conversation, you are actually giving the gift of growth to the person who will receive it. Icing on the cake, part of the proceeds actually goes to our adopted charity World Vision Singapore, because we are also advocating to support children's education. So that's what the Tree of Life project is all about.
And I think it's a particularly special project for us because the World Vision campaign that all the proceeds will be supporting is for children's education. And I think when we invest in children, we invest in the future. It sounds really cliche, but I used to be a teacher, so that's extra meaningful for me. And what's been really fulfilling from this project is how we can give back as well as coaches from what we've learned in our coaching journey. So I love that it's giving in so many forms from start all the way to the end. It's particularly exciting for that reason.
I love how you are championing so many different causes at the same time. Right?
Yeah.
Because then it's about showcasing to the world what coaching is. And over here, we're talking about trained coaches, not fly by night. Like, I'll just pull something out from a self-help book and tell it to you, and I'm a coach. What coaching is, you're also championing. I like what you say. It's a gift of growth. It's a gift of life, right? Because you're getting people to look at their life from a refreshed perspective. And it can be very magical what that does. More belief in self, more confidence, doing what they've always wanted to do, the magic that coaching brings. And then you're also supporting a cause that's important to you.
Yeah.
And then who knows what happens beyond that, right? We talk about ripples of change. You worked with one coachee. What happens beyond that? If they came in with a relationship, they want to work on a relationship and then that improves. Wow. So like, again, I said, it's what's amazing here. It's not just one individual, but it's all of you coming together and it's really multiplied. Now, you are hoping to reach out to people who have yet to experience coaching. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct, Lynn. Yeah.
So,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and just to jump in, so and by doing so, to your word ripples, right? That's what we actually want to impact, ripples of transformation from that first encounter that they received from us. I mean, who knows, with one conversation, more conversation could come, but that's essentially what we're trying to attract. Yeah.
Okay, so for those of them who have not experienced coaching before, how would you explain coaching? What is coaching?
I can jump in, right? So I think coaching is really like that self-awareness and empowerment. So it's basically like having someone to walk the journey with you, but not give you advice, right? Basically to be there to guide you. And what really happens is that I feel that the coachee actually gains a lot of clarity, a lot of awareness, and that then helps them to work through, let's say, a roadblock that they're facing or a bind that they are in, right? And it actually helps them to progress forward. So when they actually learn more about themselves in a refreshed way, they actually can unlock more of themselves, right? And achieve that kind of breakthrough that they are looking for.
Is there like
And I
oh, sorry, go ahead.
and I do want to actually add in that what the consensus is that a lot of people actually think that coaches are very similar to psychologists or counselors, but we are not. We are a completely special entity entirely, and that we are actually trained to give mindful support for intentional self-reflection and continuous personal development. So we don't really work with psychological issues or such as depression or problems like that, but we sort of empower them to actually make powerful changes to their life. So one thing I think that is very momentous is that because sometimes a lot of us actually find that we turn to our friends and family for advice and help, but what coaches actually do is that we help them to actually uncover self-limiting beliefs, awareness, insights that creates a paradigm shift that you can't do with your friends and family because they're not trained to do it. They're not discerning enough. So this paradigm shift actually creates a very transformative kind of shift to everyone.
Okay, so you've all gone through coaching, you've all been a coachee, right? You've experienced coaching. From your experience, what analogy would to each of you, we can have a few people share, what analogy to you best describes coaching?
So maybe I'll take it. I mean, very often when you look at high performance athletes and all that, very often they will have a sports coach, right? And it's very often to have a personal coach or something that to look after your body. But what about someone that's really there for your mind? Because at the end of the day, especially when we look at what's been happening in the pandemic and all of that, there's this whole idea about taking care of ourselves, our own self-development is so important. So actually, when you look at engaging a coach, I think, especially a trained coach, I think you're really looking at someone who really takes this kind of responsibility on of partnering with you to really see and journey with you on where you want to go, how to unblock the things that are holding you back and really what you want to achieve. I mean, at the end of the day, when you think about life, right, it's not a sprint, okay? Life is a marathon. And what's better to have on a marathon than, a pacer that's going to be with you, someone that's cheering you on, someone that's with you every step, and it's just really got your back.
I have another one that might be a bit unconventional, but context is my background is philosophy, and in Greek philosophy, you talk about how, the philosopher is like the midwife of knowledge. And I kind of see coaching or coaches as the midwife of facilitating, the birth of your tomorrow, the future that you want to see for yourself. We're not here to tell you how to live. We're here to create that space and to facilitate that journey so you figure out for yourself like what best resonates with you. Midwifery.
Yeah. I if I may go next, I love that step. I didn't look at it that way, but now that you said it, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But Lynn, I'd like to borrow one of the learning insight from my coachee. She told me once, thank you. You have cleared the clouds so that finally I can see the sun. And what that means is, clarity. This is the value that we bring to the table. We help you, kind of remove those, as Sijin said, limiting beliefs, those blocks that are hindering you towards your success. And I think all of us will need that support. So yeah, I think that's one way of describing the experience.
Okay. What is it like to work together then? I mean, all of you started out strangers, but the fact that you have so many different individuals coming together to say like, this is a project we want to do. I mean, it takes, immense alignment. I don't know whether you guys actually talked about aligning or whether it just kind of happened that magically. Maybe give us a little bit of the BTS behind how this project came about and how all of you got involved.
Yeah, I think I can jump in. So I think probably the project probably came about because all of us have a passion to help others, right? And basically create that impact. And what better way to do that together, right? And collectively, because when we are one, we are just an individual, but when we are together, we are a stronger team. So I think that really brings up that element, right? And because we're all so passionate about helping others, it kind of flows easily and we kind of leverage a lot on one another's strength. So I think it just comes together and we bond together. And because we've also known each other from the training program, right? So we've kind of grown closer and we have a good understanding of what each one of us is good in or what strengths we bring. So I think that's where we kind of bond together for a common purpose, for the greater good in that sense.
Okay.
And I'd like to say that because the ACD training was very grueling, it really covers a lot of our inner insights to ourselves. You know, all of us, I think we are we got a chance to really be open with each other in terms of past experiences, painful past experience. We've seen each other cry, we've seen each other develop into better people, stronger people. So I think this actually really helped us to sort of like move in tandem with each other compared to people who haven't been through these experiences together. Yeah, so I think it was really powerful. And you know, when Emily suggested to us that, hey, you know, let's do this and all, it's like, and there was no hesitation, just jump right straight into this.
Okay.
It's been very fun.
So for those who might be inspired by this and want to also create a project, what are some things that you guys think they should know? Obviously there's some element of marketing, you need to have meetings, like what's involved in carrying through this project?
I can start, and then maybe I could invite the rest to also share. So first thing first is be clear with what are you offering. For this group, we are very clear on what we are offering. We are offering the gift of coaching. And by doing so, we are actually helping you grow, and we're also helping others. So that's a golden proposition. So that's the start. That's very, very much the heart of this. And then second is have, people like these coaches who are really like full of heart and very capable, and also all givers as well. If you have the right people to do something with the right purpose and the right energy, it will just kickstart, I think, by itself. Now, all of us have contributed to this because, we all have, like you said, Lynn, we all have different strengths and we all can contribute something. So if you combine that together and if you could assign who can do what, it makes it easier for everyone. So very easy to divide and conquer because not one person can do all. And really just have a mindset of doing this as a teamwork, as a team, and have fun and learn along the way. Yeah, I'll open it up if there's more to add.
Have a leader like Emily that is that is so passionate that this is something that we all want to do, that that we're all aligned. So that clarity of where we're going and how we're going to get there is so important. I think also on a personal level, anytime we want to invest ourselves in a project like that, we need to be honest with ourselves and whoever we're collaborating with about like what's our bandwidth and how much we can give. Because that manages expectations. It also helps you manage your own expectations about how much you can give, because coaching takes a lot. You have to fill your cup before you can fill others. So that self-awareness is also really important.
I must say it's true. Any kind of project, you do need a leader. Somebody needs to step up, and it's not on the leader's shoulders, but the rest also need to pull their weight in terms of different things, right? Aligning, raising issues, giving feedback, just doing it. Maybe sometimes it's like, don't ask so much, just do it, roll it out, and we'll see how it happens. So that's the whole teamwork aspect of it. Now, apart from the team to make it happen, that's behind the project, let's also deep dive a little bit into what it took for you guys to put yourself out there. Now, if I were to rewind and go, okay, you have not gone through formal coach training, you don't have your credentials, how would you feel if I were to say, okay, all of you, why not come together and offer coaching to the public? What's the difference between having gone through formal training as a coach and not, when it comes to putting yourself out there?
Maybe I can jump in, Lynn, as the token male in the group. I think it's important to, in answering that question, to remember that, it's the coaching training thing is specialized training. And like anything in life, I think it's important that, I wouldn't suggest you get your heart operated on by a doctor who doesn't have any formal training. It's the same for everything, I think. And I think coaching it's still a relatively new kind of industry. And perhaps it's even more important under the circumstances that, if you want to embark on training or coaching experience, that you perhaps go to a qualified or certified coach. By that person getting the necessary training, they really have, I think, the necessary knowledge, skills, and experience to be able to really add value to the process. And I think that's really important, because there's, quite frankly, a lot of people out there today calling themselves coaches. So I'm a huge advocate for working with a certified or accredited coach.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point, Simon, because I think, Lynn, you mentioned fly by night, right? And actually, when I first started thinking about taking on coaching, it wasn't about getting a certification at all. It was actually just for my own personal development. I'd sort of, my kids were getting a little bit older. I've been working for some time. I thought, okay, it's really time for me to do something for myself. But as I started, along the coach training with CCI and all that, I suddenly sort of realized that actually this certification, moving towards ACC, was something that gave me a sense of achievement as well. It gave me not only kind of the tools, the structure, and all that kind of stuff, but for me, it was like a personal milestone to know that I have committed, to putting in those 100+ hours, and it's not just that, but I feel more equipped, especially when you deal with someone's emotions, someone's feelings, their experiences. They're really putting a sacred trust in you to kind of hold that space for them. And like Simon says, right, you wouldn't go to, a psychiatrist or someone like that who's never had any training. Otherwise, probably just open a bottle of wine and chat with a friend. But it's really about, me feeling equipped and ready to kind of help someone, and really be there for them. And there's that rigor and the training and all that comes with it.
Okay.
Yeah, if I can just add, I think the best, I think we all, when amongst coaches and their coachees, I think the best coaching conversation you can have is a really free-flowing experience. But it's important to remember that it's also a structured process, and there's a little bit of methodology behind it. And I think it's important that you remember, or certainly someone who's looking out for a coach, is that person really needs to guide you through that conversation. And a qualified coach has the tools and the methodology to do that.
Okay, so bring me back to the time when you guys all made the decision to do this and put yourself out there as a coach. How were you feeling? Were you nervous? Were you anxious? Were you excited?
Oh my gosh, of course it's nerve-wracking, right? Okay, people say this a lot, right? But being a coach and putting yourself out there is not necessarily the same thing. Because obviously when you coach someone, yes, you're putting yourself out there, but it's still a very one-on-one, and in a way, a very personal process, because it's just you and this other person in a room or on a call, and you're just there, right? But I suppose what this is about, whether you're making your own videos, writing your own blogs, doing your social media posts, you're like saying, hello world, this is me, I'm a coach, and that leaves you open to judgments, to comments, to all kinds of things. But I suppose at the end of the day, if we look back at this journey, and I suppose the team that you have, that we're working together, is that we all are incredibly different. Okay, I think all of us will know we all have our different styles and all that, but I think what it comes down to is we share this value and passion for wanting to help others to grow and develop. So when you have that support network, and not just the team here, but our facilitators, our other cohorts and all of that, and your own, I suppose, sense of self as you grow into coaching, which is where the training comes in, the hours, you kind of come into your own. And then you're ready to kind of say, hello world, yeah.
I want to give a huge +1 to the importance of the community. There's something really special about growing together, but on our individual journeys. And I think that really only came through the certification courses that were so structured, but we all were so vulnerable and open, and we journeyed together through a lot of it. And that's also part of why I really enjoy this crew, because I trust each person here implicitly, because I've coached all of them and they've coached me. More importantly, I know what it's like, and I would trust them with anyone in my network, right? That's why I'm like, yeah, let's put it out there, because anyone will benefit from any conversation with these amazing coaches.
So I'll just briefly add. So I think the courage is also coming from, we know that we bring a big gift. And we know that whether you like it or not, we bring value actually. So,
Why would he not like value?
Well, because
I tell you will like it. That's
yeah, exactly. We know the power of coaching. It changed us. It will change you. So we bring that with us, and we cannot keep that to ourselves. So the courage is coming from, we really want to give it to others. And, guess what? Whether you will take it or, you will not take it, we are still going to do what we will do, because we are gifts ourselves. So I think that's where the courage is also coming from. Yeah.
Okay. So now that you have done this, you have put yourself out there, you are coaching people. What's next for you? How is this? What is, this is a stepping stone to what? And you all might have individual answers, or you might have a group answer. I don't know. But what do you think this is a stepping stone to?
I can jump in and save this question. For me, it's just getting out there. This whole coaching business, and to any aspiring coaches, I think apart from the training and certification process we talked about, it's about confidence more than anything. I think that's maybe a personal opinion, but the more and more you coach, basically, the more and more confident you get. And I think by just putting yourself out there in whatever shape or form, being part of a great organization like this, or doing it by yourself, it's building the confidence, and it's building the possibility that we can go forth and do whatever it is we want to in this career, or pursue it as potentially as a career, if that's what we desire.
It's a reality, right? You have a reality to fall back on. That's priceless.
Yeah, and I mean, I suppose, one of the attractions, of doing this project is one, you get to not only, there's the adopted charity for World Vision, that Steph talked about, but I think it's doing something together with this group of people, because we just went through, 9 months of this course, and then, the course finishes, and then, you're still in touch, but this is something that really brought us together. So I thought that was really, really, it was just nice just to be back with friends and coaches. But I think also it's the season of giving, I mean, not to be all corny and all that, but it's Christmas, it's the year of new resolutions. I mean, the timing, if people really want to, hunker down and think about what can I do more, and we're grateful for so many things, right? How do you pay it forward, not just for yourself, but by giving your gift, and then maybe your New Year resolutions that you want some help, really just tipping you over the edge to kind of making it happen. And I'm just hoping that, through touching one, you touch more and more people, and it's this ripple effect, I
mean, ultimately, you want to give, if you want to give your loved one something, you want to give them something of value, right? Something that is worth something.
It's better than socks.
Which you can't wear in Singapore.
Yeah. You should give socks as well, and coaching.
Yeah, socks and coaching, yeah.
I like socks, but it's just me. FYI for everyone watching this.
If
And you
Steph
know
is your
socks are
secret
good.
Santi, get her socks.
Happy socks.
Socks are also good for coaches who need to learn how to hold back.
Like
The lesson in itself.
that's actually like an important thing, like for me, about a project like that. I think when you set out on your own as a coach, once you get through, all the courses you can get through, and you finally feel like, oh my God, I'm on my own now. It's me in the wild, wild world, right? Doing something for someone else that takes the pressure off, like, oh, I'm growing my career, but I'm really just doing this so that I can give back as well in some way. I think that's a meaningful way to grow as well, to continue to get out of your own way, which is so important in my journey as a coach, at least.
Okay. Now, any parting words? Any other, like, there's a lot of wisdom in this, but for those who are watching and you are considering, what could I do, after my training, whether it's for a hobby or whether it's to stay in touch and, create this container for yourself, or whether it's your stepping stone to something more professional and something more serious and official. I hope this group and this project inspires you with ideas that you can take on as your own. Guys, any parting tips for coaches who, in terms of like they finish their coach training and they're wondering what to do next?
Don't stop coaching. It's like you've built a muscle, you have to keep at it. But also on the flip side, it's kind of like riding a bike. Once you've done the work, it comes back easily. And then finally find your tribe and hold on to them, because they're gonna know your journey and they're gonna keep supporting you.
Yeah,
Thank you for being my tribe, everyone.
I would just maybe add, keep believing in yourself, especially the coach that is becoming in you. Part of, so for me personally, part of what's opening up also coming out of this project is finally you're out there, not just the person who has worked in the day, the mother, the parent, but also a coach. You're becoming a whole, and integrating all of that. So don't be afraid to reveal that to the world, and just be out there, believe in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I can add as well, right? I think this is my own learning, is really keep putting yourself out of your comfort zone, because only then you can actually keep growing and learning, right? So as coaches, we need to kind of grow ourselves so that we can become better coaches to others as well, right?
I've stolen the line from Finding Nemo and my friend Dory the fish. Just a little voice in the back of my head that just goes, just keep coaching, just keep coaching.
Sachin, you want to add anything?
I like to say that I think that because coaching is something so transformative for me personally, that it will somehow guide you, that you will, as Mabel say, find your way out of the comfort zone in order to keep on giving others what you personally have actually experienced yourself. It's very intuitive, because you know that it's so good, it's so powerful for people who actually experience that you just want to give more to others.
Yeah, and I suppose at the end of the day, when you've done your coach training, this is about coaching in the wild. I know, but I mean, it's one thing coaching with your peers, coaching with, like if you do the C for Cheat, but this is really kind of going out there and really kind of testing yourself, and really helping people with having, with real issues. Not that other peer coaches don't, but it's different. If you've gone, I don't know, I see a lot of nodding hands. I think you realize what it is. It is different. And it really allows you to really listen that much more deeply in a way, because it's real life and yeah, so don't be scared. Growth is painful. That's why, they call it a growth edge. But, once you push yourself past it, the possibilities are just endless.
I want to thank all of you for contributing to this video that I know will serve other people, because that's what happens nowadays, right? Of all these silent consumers, they lurk, but they're actually watching and they're actually getting inspired, but they just don't tell you. So that you're putting energies together to grow another coach, to create something like this, that's also part of paying it forward and creating ripples. So thank you so much for your time, guys, and all the best for your project.
And thanks so much,
Thank you,
Lynn,
Lynn.
for giving us the time. And
Yes.
please
Yes.
donate. Anyway, here. Oh, I'm going to try and point properly. This is the website. Sorry, we did this one. Please join us. bit.ly/coach Tree of Life.
Yes.
Before we forget.